morning, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode. Talking about it allows you to hear yourself. It allows you to process through it. And then So this topic today is when what you want doesn't look like what you have. And what sometimes, beautiful people, we go through life and so many things happen to us that we don't know that. Good morning, beautiful people. Happy Thursday to you. We are now here enjoying another episode of It's Laconya, So Say Me. And so today I actually want to talk to you about, sometimes I go through, little tips, tidbits, takeaways, tips, tidbits, and takeaways for you, right? On Thursday. So I want you all to start remembering that Thursdays, tips, tidbits, and takeaways. So today, I always have stories is how I kind of give you a lesson or things that I've just come to understand. So say me. And so I'll tell you one, and it's knowing when to push or knowing when to pivot, recognizing the counterfeit from the real, right? From the real. So I'll tell you this. I was at we have in our neighborhood where I am, we have this market, this Amish market, an Amish market. That's what it's called, Dutch market, whatever. Anyway, I was hungry and I wanted some lunch, and I was like, oh, I can't wait. I had planned on being there, knew what I was going to get. And I had heard about this dish that they made, and it was a spicy seafood salad. I'm like, oh, I can't wait. Ooh, counterfeit versus the real. And so I went to the Amish market, took my little ticket, stood in line and waited and did what I needed to do. And the lady called me and was like, number, whatever. And she said, what would you like? And I said, I am going to have the spicy seafood salad. I drove from Jablip to get here. I heard about this dish and ooh, I can't wait. And so she began to prepare my order. And I heard other people behind me saying, "Ooh, what is that you're getting?" And I said, "The spicy seafood salad." They said, "Is it good?" I said, "I don't know. I've not had it before. I've heard amazing things about it, so I'm getting ready to find out." So the lady asked, another customer asked, "Can I sample that?" And so the person who was helping, she said, "Sure." So she gave a little sample. And she tasted it, and I was thinking, oh, I should have sampled it. But I heard it was great. I heard it from what I thought, a reliable source. It should be fine. So I turned to the person behind me, and I said, how is it? And she said, it's good. It's real good. I said, okay. And the lady was scooping my spicy seafood salad in, and I noticed something. I said, as a matter of fact, I see the shrimp. What's that right there? And she said, oh, it's crab meat. I like crab meat. I was like, don't look like what I've seen. And I said, ma'am, can I ask you a question? She said, what? I said, is that imitation crab meat? And she said, yes. But all blended in, it's good. It's good. It's good. Anyway, the counterfeit. And mixed in with the celery, the shrimp, the mayonnaise, whatever it is that they use to make it, you almost couldn't tell the difference, except it wasn't real crab meat. I declined my order. I actually don't prefer imitation crab meat. That's just a me thing, right? Nothing wrong with it for those that like it. Do you? But the imitation, it's so close. The counterfeit is so close to the real thing that sometimes in life, we end up going with what we think is the real thing until we slow down and really examine it. The counterfeit, the imitation, it looks like might even talk like, might even dress like, might even smell like, it may even taste like the real thing until you get down to the fine print, until you get down to asking the details, asking certain questions. And so, what I want to talk to you about on Thursday's tips, tidbits, and takeaways is be mindful that the counterfeit is, that's why it's called that. The counterfeit usually comes before the real thing. And sometimes in order to get the real thing, it means you have to go through a process. It means you have to wait. It means you may be in a season of preparation. I have another story. So I went and I bought me this pocketbook. It was green. I liked it. I enjoyed it and I rocked it. Well, when they sold it to me, again, the counterfeit, I didn't know that it was counterfeit. I didn't know the questions to ask. I didn't pay attention to the details. I liked the color, and they said it was this particular kind of purse, and I loved the color, and I was like, "Ooh, yay!" Paid my money and left. And then I was in the presence of a friend of mine, and she said, "I really like the color of that purse, Laconya." And I was like, "Thanks." And all of a sudden she said, "Open it up. Let me see the zipper." And she paid attention to the detail. She started asking questions. Is it this? And is it that? And does it do this? And does it do that? And I was like, don't know, never checked, didn't even think to know. And she said, "Wow, this isn't what you think it is. This is a counterfeit." And I was like, "It is?" And she said, "It is." The counterfeit. And I was like, "But it looks so real. It seemed so real. It felt so real." And she said, "Look." And she showed me the intricate details. And there I recognized that just like the spicy seafood salad, it's the counterfeit. It's not real crab meat, but covered up. And a lots of mayo and all these other things. And moving fast and not slowing down to ask, hey, what are the ingredients? Or is this crab meat, or is this authentic? I didn't ask those questions. I didn't read the fine print in some situations. I ended up with the counterfeit, right? And then the real thing, because it takes time. And so, one of the things I want you to consider as you move throughout life, as you move throughout business, as you consider opportunities, is it the counterfeit? Or is it the authentic thing? Does this opportunity, does it truly align with the mission and the vision that you have for yourself? Or is it a deviation from it? Close, but still a deviation. And so sometimes when we want things quickly, then we don't recognize, because it's close and it's covered up with a bunch of stuff, then we go with it. And we figure, we'll work out the kinks until you get to the other side and you realize this isn't the real thing. And because it's not the real thing, it's not going to give you the satisfaction that you were looking for. So I want you to consider the counterfeit, being able to distinguish, is this the counterfeit or is this the authentic thing? And here's how you're going to know. It's in the detail. It's in the detail. Some of you all, and I'm going to mind your business, file it under T for trash if it's not applicable, but I'm going to go there. Some of you all are dating the counterfeit. It's in the details. It's in the details. Some of you are in business relationship with the counterfeit partner. How do you know the details in the fine print? Do they share? Does the vision and the mission of what you want to accomplish, is it complementary? Does it overlap? Is it in keeping with the truth that you know for you? Or all the noise, has it confused you? The idea of, we're going to make money, we're going to be paid, we're going to be stacking our paper, all of that. Is that confusing you, that you stop to ask questions? Like, do we want the same thing? Are we here to serve the same purpose? Does it align with what you saw that was true for you? Does that make sense? The counterfeit sometimes comes before the real deal, and it's a test to see, are you willing to go through the process and go and pay the price to get authentic whatever you want? Another example. So this is I'll use it nonetheless. So sometimes, like I'm just gonna tell it. So I was wearing what do they call it? Waist trainers or whatever you do. You put your waist trainers on. It's funny to me. It's funny to me. So I had a waist trainer on. Really, I say it's old school girdle for those of you who appreciate that language. Waist trainers, body shapers, whatever. The counterfeit. So I put it on, put my little outfit on. I'm relaxing and I'm enjoying myself. And in this dress, oh, this beautiful gold canary dress. It was so pretty, y'all. It was so, so pretty. I put this dress on. Mind you, I had on my version of imitation crab meat underneath the clothes. I had on the knockoff pocketbook underneath the clothes, right? I had on the counterfeit. I had on the imitation underneath because it snatched my waist in and hoisted me up and did all of that stuff. And I put this dress on and I stepped out the door and I was ready. I cracked me up. And I tell you, when I walked across that floor, it was like a glide. I was like, hey, now. I was on my way to a restaurant to eat, and I sat down and I enjoyed my meal, and it was delish. And I was good and full. But I had to excuse myself and go to the ladies' room because that waist trainer, what body shaper, or girdle, whatever it was, it was cutting off my circulation after I had eaten, right? So I decided, I should be fine. It's not a problem. And I promise you, I went to the ladies' room, excused myself, and I took it off and figured I should be okay. It's funny to me because the reality, the real thing showed up. And I didn't look the same in the dress. And no one said anything, but I saw the look on my friends' faces. When I came back to the table, they had like a double take, like, huh? Like the Scooby Doo look, like, huh? And I just addressed the elephant in the room, right? Oh, no, no, no. I had that. And they was like, oh, no, but you look fine. I mean, oh, but they were like shocked. And so I'm saying the counterfeit, right? It appeared that I was snatched, but it wasn't the authentic thing. And having that experience more than one time or something similar to it, I thought just like with to buy something of some kind of value, whatever you value, or just like to get a certain meal, if you want crab, real crab meat, you got to crack that shell and you got to go through the tedious process and you got to wait for it. It's not an immediate, it's not an instant thing. If you're going to crack it out of the crab itself, or you're going to have to go and buy, lump crab meat, whatever it is, it's still a process to get the authentic thing. And so much like the waist trainer, it was imitation. If I wanted to really be snatched, it means I got to go through the process to get the real thing. And so I embarked on this journey to say, I don't want to have to wear, I don't want to have to, what I call it, like wrap myself up like a mummy and then have to go through taking it all off later. And I'm still left with what the truth is, right? I don't want the authentic. It's in the details. See, the details were for the waist trainer, it holds you just fine. Oh, yeah, they work. So if you're into that, get it. The details are, it's not permanent. It comes off, right? And you're still left with what it is. The details are, they're uncomfortable for me, at least, to sleep in. The details are, you have to take it off. The details are depending on how much you eat, and if you expand or bloat or anything, you're uncomfortable. And so when I started thinking about that, that's not really what I want. What I really want is to be able to wear whatever outfit I'm going to wear and be comfortable in my skin. And if I don't really like the way that I'm looking as a result of my own habits that I've chosen for myself, then go through the process. Go through the process. And so I want you all to know some tips, some takeaways, right? Pay attention to the authenticity of what you want versus the counterfeit. The counterfeit or the imitation is the quick fix. It's instant, it's immediate, but it's not sustainable. And sometimes when we do business, sometimes when we do relationships, sometimes when we do health, sometimes when we do money, we do all kinds of things to get us this quick fix, which is oftentimes the counterfeit. We do it in finances. We'll say, oh, let me take this loan because I got the money quick, but you didn't read the fine print. The fine print is it's an exorbitant amount of interest rate, and it's going to take you twice as long, three times as long to pay back that. Had you done the authentic, had you done what your true intent was, is to pay it off and go through the process of making consistent payments, making the sacrifice to scale back for 6 months, and you would have gotten it done, as opposed to taking out this quick fix loan and then you got to pay it off in 30 days, but now you're stuck 3 and 5 years later trying to pay back this loan shark kind of a payday loan, right? So I want you all to consider that on Thursday's tips, tidbits, and takeaways. I want you to consider being weary, being considerate. Watch out for the counterfeit. Watch out for the imitation. If it's quick, if it's instant, if it's not sustaining, pause. Go back and ask yourself, what is it that you truly want? So for those who want health and wellness or to be fit, like how many waist trainers or how many girdles or how many what are they called? Fajas and all of those things that you have. How many do you need to own, and how long will you have to wear it? And at the end of the day, when you take it off, are you where you said you wanted to be? And so even if you wore that for a whole year, what would it look like if you put in the work? You went through the process of whatever it is it takes to get a snatch waistline for women. Men probably, I don't know. What would you have to do in order to get to the financial goal that you say? Oh, you want to save $500. I gave that challenge to you all. Did you bother to scale back? What would it look like if you scale back for 6 months, 12 months, 3 months? What would it look like if you worked a second job for 6 months? Could you get there? Or do you just take out the payday loan or the cash advance or whatever that is that you would have done? So I want you all to think about that. When you're dating, do you have the counterfeit? Did you pay attention to the details? You want children. They don't. You want to get married. They don't. The details. You share one faith. They don't share that faith. You all don't align on some common core values. You recognize early on that you're not complementary to one another. You recognize that the way your world views are so different. Opposites attract until it gets on your nerves. Right. It's cute for a minute, but those are the details. When you think about relationship, like, can you do life with this individual, with their personality being what it is, with your personality being what it is? But we miss the details. The details are, that's right. I forgot I love to travel. They're afraid of heights. They hate to travel. The details. That's right. I forgot that you want to be a missionary or you want to live abroad and they prefer Southern living. The details. But you think, well, all the noise. At least I got a babe. At least I got a boo. And we're coming up on, cuffing season. We're coming up on boo. We're coming up into boo land and bay land. It gets fall and people kind of come together. Is it the imitation or are you paying attention to the details? I want you all to think about that. Your business partner, ooh, they're about making money. You need a business partner. You want money, but wait a minute. Your ethics don't align. The details. Some people are doing it, missing the details. It's the imitation. It's the counterfeit in real estate. I was talking to one person. They were dealing with the real estate situation. The details. And the person said, the realtor who was trying to make the deal go through said, listen, we can do I know a round-away kind of way, a backdoor approach to kind of broach this same thing. The details, the counterfeit, the imitation. So I want you to pay attention to that. So whatever decision you're going to make, ask yourself first, identify what you truly wanted. I wanted seafood salad, fresh shrimp, fresh crab meat, scallop, fresh lobster, whatever, however they made it. I didn't want imitation. So it meant that I needed to pivot. I didn't have to give up my desire of what I wanted. It means that where I was looking to get it, it couldn't provide it. So I needed to pivot. Holding true to my desire, being clear about what I wanted, allowed me to make the next best decision for me so that I didn't settle and end up with counterfeit eating. You have to be willing to pivot. When you get the details, when you get the information and the details reveal that this is not the authentic thing, this is not the real deal, you have to be willing to pivot. And so I pivoted. I told the cashier, thank you, my lady, but no thank you. And I passed. And so I did not eat my food from that establishment. Other than that, the place was fine, but I didn't get that dish from that establishment. Pivot. I'll give you the other example. When I wear my waist trainer and girdles, for those of you who are in that age bracket or whatever that is this really what I want? What I want is to be able to wear my clothes that I have and look presentable to me in them and not have to unhinge myself after every meal. So I needed to pivot. It means now let me look at my diet and exercise. Pivot. Because the waist trainer, although it was temporary, it's actually not the details. This can't sustain me forever. I don't want to have to strap up every single time I want to wear a dress, right? So I had to pivot. And in the pivot, it means go through the process of working out, go through the process of being mindful of diet and exercise, go through the process of understanding what my body needs and what it doesn't need, go through the process of understanding my eating patterns and craving patterns for whatever it is that was happening with me. Business wise, you're going to get opportunities that come up and it's going to make sense, but the details. You're saying you want to sell shoes and they're saying they want to sell shea butter. Like, the details? Hey, let's do a business. All business ain't your business. And everybody that connects with you who is in a business should be a part of your business. But it's in the details. Their ethics are, let's do a backdoor approach. Your ethics are, you do things, everything you do is in the light. So pay attention to that. Right? And be willing to pivot when it doesn't align. Be willing to pivot. Relationships. Is it the counterfeit? They want just chilling, Netflix and chill. You want intentional dating. They want, we'll see. You want, let's be deliberate. We're working towards something. They want, you want abstinence. They want, sex, the details, right? You have to be willing to pivot. They believe in ants they worship ants and you may worship, I don't know, God. I want you all to slow down. You got to be willing to pivot. After you get the information about the details, are you willing to pivot? So first, identify what you want. Be clear about what you want. Go with your true thought, your first thought. The first voice is usually the right voice, the true voice. The first voice is normally the true voice. Every voice after that typically is the counterfeit voice. And then you have all these other voices and then you're really confused. So go back to your authentic voice, your first voice. What do you want? If you want to be married, write that down. If you want seafood salad, not invitation, write that down. If you want a business partner who shares your passion, for the population or the service or the type of business that you want to do. Write that down. If you want to be fit, write that down. Without authentically, let's say without medical procedures, write that down. Whatever it is, first identify what you truly want. And then I encourage you to start moving in that direction. Don't be scared. You don't have to be scared. Oh, what if the counterfeit comes? Oh, it's okay. The counterfeit is always going to show up. If you want a particular pocketbook, whatever it is, pair of jeans, write that down and move in the direction of acquiring, obtaining, or experiencing that. Go ahead. It's okay to go. And then when you are faced with something and it seems like it's okay. Don't panic. This is the time that you start asking questions. This is the time before you lock in, before you sign, before you say I do, before you jump, right? Before you purchase. This is the time that you ask investigative questions. This is where inquiry comes in. You read the labels, you check the fabric, you read the fine print, right? This is where you ask intentional questions so you can see, does the details align with your authentic desire, with what you want? And if it does, bullseye, you got the real deal. And good luck to you and enjoy it, whatever it is. And if it doesn't, it's the counterfeit. Be willing to pivot. Let it go. Be willing to pivot. The counterfeit is going to have all the things that you absolutely want, except in the details. It's where the truth is going to be. And so when you explore the details, beautiful people, that's where you're going to find the meat and potatoes. That's where you're going to find the necessary information for you to be able to make an informed, healthy decision for your life. The counterfeit will always show up, but you don't have to get caught up in it. You don't have to worry about it once you know how to do inquiry. Okay? So don't be scared. Go for it. Here's Thursday's tips, tidbits, and takeaways. First, identify truly what you want. Write it down. Specificity is your friend. Be very specific. Very specific. Write it down, because if you're vague, then you're not going to know what questions to ask, so you can identify, is this the counterfeit? So first, write down what you want. That's the first thing you're going to do. If it's what you want to eat, what you want to wear, what you want to purchase, where you want to live, who you want to date, how you want to date, business, money, whatever it is, write it down. That's first. Second, move in the direction of obtainment. Move in the direction to acquire it, to experience it, to taste it, to have it, to see it, to whatever. Go ahead and move. Once you write down, I want this, go ahead and move. The third, right before you seal the deal, right before it becomes permanent, right before the point of no return, ask questions. Go through a period of inquiry. Ask questions. Ask questions, period. And you're listening, you're trying to get all the information about the details. And don't worry, if it's the real deal, it's part of the process. They're not going to mind you asking questions. Ask questions, read the fine print, get a sample. Whatever it is you need to do, go through the point of inquiry before you seal the deal. And if the questions don't come back with answers that are satisfactory to you, that confirms for you that this is the real deal, be willing to pivot. Know what you want, pursue what you want, inquire about what you want, and then be willing to pivot. If you follow those tips, those tidbits, and those strategies, you'll always land in your original place. You will get the authentic thing. So beautiful people, until next time, so say me. I'll see you later. See you on the other side. Bye-bye. talking about it allows you to cure yourself. It allows you to process through it. And then from there, from